What's up, everybody? It's FeiticeiraRL here, making a quick video just to show you guys some settings that I have and settings I used to get me to high SSL. I've been top 100 a couple seasons ago in 2v2s. I had like a peak of about 2250, and so yeah. So I'm gonna show you guys my settings. So for training, obviously we just have all this basic stuff. You can adjust your game speed, and so what that does, if you don't really know, just makes it slower. It gives you like a placebo effect that like you're faster once you actually get rid of it, since you're used to being slow. And so you bring it back after 20 minutes of playing on it. I'd recommend, if you want to use this, use like 85 to 90, because I've tried like 50 and like the lower ones. It's good for like practicing mechanics and stuff, but it just gets so boring because you're going so slow. So I would do like 85, because you still get slowed down to practice your mechanics, but it's not as boring. Disable goal reset. Basically what this does, it's just when you score a goal in training, it just doesn't really do the explosion, whereas if you scored it normally, as you see, you would do that and you'd show the replay. I just keep this on usually, or just off, whatever. If I'm testing the goal explosions, I'll keep it off. For gameplay, pretty simple. Cross-platform on. This doesn't really matter. I haven't seen that it does anything. I just keep it on high. Maybe if you have like really bad Wi-Fi, maybe put this on like medium. Same thing with the input buffer. Just keep it on default. I was lagging a bit earlier today, so CSTS. STS for me doesn't do anything, but default already is an input buffer. It's just the default one, and so if you are lagging, CSTS is pretty good. This is, I don't know what this does really. Yeah, so competitive ranks, so I just have this on all. Just keep that default. This doesn't really matter. It's just a club match and private matches, so it doesn't. And then here's this stuff. And so you can do like the main stats or whatever, and it'll tell you like the game stats. And then here's all this stuff. Is pretty. This is a new one. Skip drop opening animation. I don't have any drops right now, but what it does is it doesn't do like the noise, and it doesn't do all the things. It just gives you what you get out of like a drop, rather than doing the animation, which is nice. For camera, here we are. I mainly use this, and so I use the 110 field of view. Obviously, turn camera shake off, 90 height. People are going down, I feel like, because before a lot of people would play on like a 110. I think maybe apparently Jack played on like 110 -3 for a little bit. People are going down, and the angle's also going down, or like they're increasing the negative, so it's just going down. I wouldn't go past -5. Go from -3 to -5. -4 is okay too. Just don't go to like -8 or something crazy. Maybe, I know some freestylers use like -6. When I just don't really, I don't like how it angled toward my car. I don't like to see the hood of my car. So if I do like freestyling, I would do 80, because when you get resets on 80 height, what that does is it looks very soft. It doesn't like bump your camera. Whereas on 90, you're like, we'll just show you 110 is crazy, because when you get a reset, it kind of like bumps the camera, and so it's hard to control it because it just moves the camera. And so I like 90 -5. It's pretty even, so it doesn't bump the camera as much, but it's still high enough to where I can see stuff in normal games. Stiffness, basically what that does, it's just what it says. So when you have ball cam off, it just locks it to your car, and it looks like you're going the same speed the whole time. And so I actually used to play on 1 stiffness when I was bad. It's not terrible, it's just like you don't feel like you're going fast, whereas if you put it all the way on like 0, I think it is. Yeah, 0. It makes your distance really far, and it's just way too far. So I'd recommend anywhere from like 25 to like 50. I play on 35 to like 40 there, or like sometimes I'll do 25. Swivel speed, this is just the right stick. Doesn't matter how fast it is. I like it at 4 because I know some people like have it at like 7. Like AppJack has it at 7. It's like super fast, just whatever you like. It doesn't really change anything different. So I just keep it at like 4. Transition speed, a lot of people use higher, so it's like the ball cam. When you toggle your ball cam on, it's just how fast it goes. And so if you have it on 1, a lot of people play on 1 too. It's just really smooth. I kind of like playing on 1, but I switched to 1.7 like a couple days ago. But I did like playing on 1 because while you toggle between the ball cam, if you're, getting boost or whatever, and you turn it off just to align yourself with the boost, and then you turn it back on, you get like a little scan of the field, and so you can see if anyone's there. Whereas if you put it at 2, it's literally instant, and you get like motion sick. I don't like it. So 1.7 is pretty good. And then the obviously demo transition time, just keep it at 0. There's no reason to have it. And then invert swivel is just, if you want, it's up to go like look. When you look up, you look down. When you look down, like with your joystick, you look up, and then left is right, and then right is left. Some people have it. I just don't. Here's controls. So I use 1.7, 1.9. The steering, and so I actually use a higher dead zone. I just switched to this as well. I used to use 0.08 with like 0.30, and so what this does, and so I also have a square dead zone, just because it gives you more. It's basically cleaner inputs is what I like, and then you can also do like this. What's it called? When you do flip cancels, you get more precise flip cancels, and I'm learning how to stall, so I put it at 0.20, and I still feel fast on it because of the steering sensitivity and stuff, and the aerial sensitivity, since it's kind of higher. For dead zones, it depends on what controller you're on. Xbox controllers usually use 0.10 to like 0.15 if like for like a faster. If you're like a freestyler, obviously you can put it up and do that, play with that. For aerial sensitivity and steering, for steering I want to go higher than 1.7 and lower than 1.2, and then pretty much the same thing for aerial. I know a few players, I'm pretty sure Monkey Moon uses like a 3 or something, so really fast. But it's personal preference. Again, if you want it really twitchy, if you're learning, I would recommend keeping it lower. For dodge dead zone, it's just basically what it says. Controls how far your stick must move. So if you keep it really all the way down, 10, and you move your stick, if you look at my overlay, barely move the stick up, it registers as a front flip. And so I don't like that because you'll accidentally, when you're doing fast aerials, you accidentally backflip. So I keep it between 0.50 at the lowest and like 0.75 or 0.80. It's pretty good. Obviously, you want vibration off, and then this is just keyboard and mouse. So I don't play on keyboard and mouse, so that's just, you can mess with that. Interface scale is basically just how big this thingy is. I just keep it at 100. Most people just play at 100, but I like it at 95. It looks a little bit smaller, and it looks like, I don't know, it's nice. Nameplate scale, this is a pretty important one. I think it's default at 150. If you can't really see now, but basically when you're in a game with players, their names are, it just changes how big their name is. So at 50, it's going to be super small, and you can't really see where they're at. I'd recommend like 200 if you're newer, just to see where everyone's at. And then between 150 and 200 is decent. And then nameplate mode, just keep this on default because you want to see where they're at. For these, it doesn't matter. I keep it on all, so like when you get a save, it'll make the sound and it'll show on your screen. It'll say save plus 50. And yeah, I just time updates only. And then most people put it on. I think it's time updates only, or it might be kickoffs only. I think it's kickoffs only. So when you get a save, it doesn't. I don't really notice it, but it doesn't matter. For these, it doesn't really matter. Again, that's the metric, and imperial. So if you have it ticked on metric, it's going to do KPH, and unticked is MPH. I know most players, even if you're not from America, or even if you're from America, a lot of players still keep it on KPH. And then obviously you want ball cam indicator and ball cam arrow on. Keep these on. Performance graphs just shows like, again, see like how I keep it on none just because I already have the Bockets mod FPS on. But this is like if you're lagging or something, you can see. And then that's just, that. For video, I just I use anti-aliasing just because I don't like my game to look like pixelated. If I turn it off here in the menu, you might not be able to see it's a little bit pixelated on the corners of the car. I just don't like that. I like it smooth, but I would recommend turning it off unless it bothers you like it does to me. Keep this on high quality unless you're like on a shit PC. Then you can maybe put it on high performance or whatever quality. Just keep it on high quality though. It doesn't really give you much of a boost. For render detail, yeah, obviously I have it on custom, but basically just put it on performance. Use your recommended frames. Don't use like uncapped because it'll make you. And what I do is, well, when I record and when I stream, I do motion blur on. It just makes it look a little bit smoother on the stream. Effect intensity doesn't really matter. You can put it on low or default. So I just switch between the two. High quality shaders. I know a few people use. I think Squishy uses high quality shaders sometimes. It just makes it, yeah. And then texture detail, just put it on high performance, and then everything else on performance. If you put this on like high quality, you'll get like the 3D grass and stuff. And that quality, it's like no 3D grass, but it still looks nice, I guess. Just put on performance unless you want it. And then obviously like weather effects and stuff, turn it off. I know sometimes ambient occlusion, it looks nice, but sometimes if you want to, like, if in free play, I'll put it on high quality and it looks kind of cool in free play, but I don't use it in games, especially because it just is distracting. So I just put it on, I just put it on performance and this on high performance, and then I put motion blur on for when I'm streaming. Audio, I have that all the way down and stuff for gameplay, just because I'm recording. So I would keep this up and just turn the music off unless you want it, I guess. Don't do it for when you're in the game though. It doesn't really matter. You don't really have to listen to everyone's playing Anthem. Voice chat on, and then ambient and crowd, turn these off, because like, if you have the crowd on, here, I'll just turn it up real quick here. 100, and then turn this up a little bit. You can hear the crowd, and I don't like it to hear the crowd, like screaming and stuff. And then just output type, whatever if you're using your speakers or headphones. Dynamic range, I just keep it on default. This stuff kind of messes. Like if you put on like low, the boost and stuff will sound a little bit different. It'll sound a little bit weird. And then all the stuff doesn't really matter. You can turn player anthems off, and then I guess that doesn't really make sense to have the gameplay on, but. And then for chats, obviously, you just have this on. If you get tilted easy, just turn this to teammates only or off so that people don't spam. And then I'll just show you my chats in case. And then back to this controls, I forgot. Show you my binds. So these are my binds if you want to copy them or just, you know. I use arrow right, which is a lot of people use left for when they're doing like air dribbles or mechanics. I speed flip with left most of the time. I can also speed flip with right. So like if I spawn, let's get it here. It takes a minute. There. Well, if I spawn on this kickoff on the right, I speed flip to left because then I'll land right here, right? And so basically if I dodge to the left, you know, I'll win the kickoff, or like it'll give me a better chance of winning. Whereas if I'm on this side, I speed flip to the right, and so that'll just do the same thing. Because whereas if I speed flip to the left on this kickoff, oh fuck, messed it up. If I speed flip to the left on this kickoff, you're gonna kind of land over here unless you really move the car a lot. That's why I don't like speed flipping to the left on that kickoff. I never do. So, but it doesn't really matter. You don't need to learn 2 speed flips. Boost is on L1, power slide and arrow on the same, which is free arrow. So joystick movement for arrow. I don't know anyone who's that good on free arrow. So if you're newer, bind a directional arrow. So get used to either left or right. Neither is better. A lot of people use left just because I'm left-handed, so for some reason I like right. I don't know why. I keep that on square, or I believe it's X on Xbox. And so I use that. I like right better, but left is fine too. They don't really change how you play. Scoreboard, I just have this on my down. I know a lot of people have it on like their D-pad or whatever. I just have it on my down thing, so it's like also on my quick chat for the scoreboard. But I don't really spam the scoreboard that much. It doesn't matter. And then I don't think any of these really matter, other than like the free play ones maybe. Yeah. And so that pretty much wraps it up. This is my first video on YouTube. I also stream on Twitch pretty frequently, so go ahead and drop a follow on Twitch. It's the same thing as my username on YouTube. And help me get top 100. Let's get back to top 100. Let's go. Alright, thank you guys for watching. See ya.